From Wall Street to the White House, this is the Larry Kudlow Show.
What a difference 8 years make. How Trump's second inaugural will surpass his first. A great op-ed piece by the brilliant Victor Davis Hanson, Distinguished Fellow at the Hoover Institution. And Victor's latest book is The Second World Wars, How the First Global Conflict Was Fought and Won. Victor, season's greetings. Merry Christmas. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. We don't have Victor yet. All right. So we're trying to get hold of Victor Davis Hanson. I'll just review his piece while we're trying to track him down. Mr. Trump's position today is completely different from his position 8 years ago in 2017, 7 years ago in 2017, if you will. He's polling over 50%. All right, now we have Victor Davis Hanson. Good. All right, Victor, thank you for doing this. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. What a difference 8 years make. So Mr. Trump is in vastly better position than he was 8 years ago. That's the key point, is it not?
Oh, it's not even close, Larry. He's got the House. He's got the Senate. He's got a sympathetic Supreme Court. He has a ratification of winning the popular vote more than any other Republican since no one's done it since George W. Bush in 2004. He won the Electoral College by a wide margin, and every issue that he campaigned on is polling 60% and above.
So that puts him, I mean, he has clearly a mandate for his policy changes. How fast, how quickly do you think he's going to take advantage of that? I mean,
he's got to do it as quickly as possible because he has a small majority, as you know, in the House. It'll get a little bigger with these couple of special elections, but he's also got some intrinsic, as you know better than I do, Larry, some fault lines he's going to have to finesse with. Some people want the immigration for the skilled engineers upped, and other people, you know, in the MAGA base don't. He'll have to find a compromise for that. Maybe you could, for each engineer you let in, you disqualify a family person without skills coming in. I don't know, but he'll have to do that. He's got a lot of really good tax cuts, but he's going to have to cut spending, and that's going to be tricky when he has a thin margin in the House. He's got to restore deterrence abroad and he's got to do it the way he did before with Soleimani, Baghdadi out, killing off the Wagner group, but not getting into an optional war or messy deal in the Middle East or something. So if he can finesse all that, but he's got to move quickly, I think, to keep the coalition alive.
You know, I think he should go for broke, one big fat reconciliation bill, put everything into it. That's been my take. I've been kind of crusading on this. You know, you can't count on a second bill. As you say, the margins are very thin. I was talking to Speaker Johnson about this yesterday. I mean, it's like herding cats. It's very difficult to do. So strike while the iron is hot.
Yep. The closer you are to the mandate election, the more power he'll have. And so he's got a window, I think, of 60, 90 days. Reagan did that, as you know, in 1981. He moved quickly, and everybody said that you'll never be able to cut taxes at that rate, and he did. And I don't think he would have been able to do that if he had waited a year or two, is what I'm saying.
And you say in this thing, Trump is grudgingly admired now even by some of his enemies. I mean, it's an interesting thing. I think the left was so stunned by these election results. I'm not saying they're for him, but as you say, grudgingly admired. The wind is at his back, you know. That's so important, and I don't know how long that's going to last, Victor.
Well, I think two things are going on, Larry, that they threw everything at him. They impeached him twice. They tried him as a private citizen. The two assassination attempts, I think, were due to the rhetoric that they spread. They had tried to remove him in 19 states from the 16 from the state ballots. He had 5 civil criminal indictments, 91 felony counts, and they couldn't destroy him. And I think they feel now, well, we did our part. We did all we could. We threw everything at him. And the guy's a Nietzsche, and he's stronger now than he ever was. And then by the same token, I think they look at Biden and they think, oh, my God, we can't lie anymore. It doesn't work. The facade is over. He's a waxen effigy. The Obamas are discredited. Let's just get out of this. Let's just start over from square one and just cede the last 60 days to Trump, and that's what they've done. Just let him have it. We won't talk about the Logan Act like we did in 2006. We're exhausted. We don't have any ideas. We got to regroup. Give us 3 months. But for now, let Trump do what he wants.
So those 3 months, as you say, are crucial. I mean, you could call it 100 days, whatever you wish to call it. So that's why I keep saying strike while the iron is hot. He has phenomenal support. It's like the biggest Big Tent he'll ever have.
Yeah, I think there's not going to be a Rex Tillerson or a John Bolton or a Scaramucci or those people that some of them came in late, some started, but in 2017, he started out with people who thought they knew better than Trump, and their duty was to use their bureaucratic skills to stop him. And now he's got people they think their duty is to accelerate the Trump agenda, and that's a big difference. And I think that was really smart that he insisted on loyalty and consistency in these appointments. And I think that's going to be a big force multiplier. He's got all these operatives all over the cabinet, that are thinking, how can I help Trump get this agenda in all of its manifestations? And before, I think the attitude was, well, he doesn't know what he's doing or he's dangerous. I'll just nod and say yes, but then I'll use my bureaucratic expertise to thwart him. And it's just night and day, the difference.
He's got across-the-board Kudlows, Victor.
He does, Larry. He does. But as you know, you were a lone voice in some of those meetings. So.
By the time I got in there in early 18.
Over the last 75 years, over 10,000 chemicals have been introduced to our food supply. Yet the EU only allows 300 food additives. But at Thrive Market, we bring our members the highest quality brands and restrict more than 1,000 ingredients found at conventional grocery stores, making the switch is easy with our Healthy Swaps scanner, which finds better versions of all your favorite pantry, snacking, and home essentials without the added junk, dyes, and fillers. Plus, it's all delivered straight to your door. So if you're looking to shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health, go to thrivemarket.com/podcast and you'll get 30% off your first order and a free gift.
It was very messy. Eventually, it slowly got straightened out. But, the machinery is important, and you're exactly right. You can't have half your cabinet operating against you. So fortunately, he doesn't have that problem right now. And as you say, he's personally transparent, right? He's upbeat, he's energetic. I think is there a sense of optimism? Like America's fundamentally usually an optimistic country. Is there a sigh of relief that, optimism is back and we can get this story straight now?
I've been talking to some foreign journalists, and my God, I think you're right. It's overseas even. It's officially, we're scared of Trump. He's crazy, but privately, thank God he's back because he protects his allies and he punishes his enemies, and we can count on him. And I think there's a sigh of relief. I think people are thinking we've just been nagged and lectured to, talked down. We can't do this. We can't do this. This guy comes in, so we can do anything with the United States. We can close the border. We can cut taxes. We can get the economy going, get energy back. There's nothing that's going to stop us, and that's infectious. And I think when he brings in Elon Musk and all these different people, whatever you feel about Tulsi or Elon, but the point is they're all upbeat people. And when the Democrats tried it, they brought in Liz Cheney. She was a scowl, and Nagger herself, and all those never-Trumpers were gloom and doom. So their version of getting the opposite party was a disaster, and Trump's was ecumenical, and I think it really helped him.
Well, that's right. I mean, he has a very broad coalition in the cabinet, or at least the nominations, with Tulsi, and then you have what I call the Doge brothers, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. He's got RFK Jr., and at the same time he's got Marco Rubio's and so forth. I mean, it's a very broad-based coalition he's operating from.
It is. I don't think anybody understood him, when they used to call him a racist or a nativist. He got a higher Latino, Black, Asian vote than any Republican that castigated him, more than Romney, more than McCain. They don't get that he has a natural affinity for the middle and working classes, and he's able to substitute racial chauvinism with class solidarity. So I live out here in the San Joaquin Valley. I can guarantee you that a Mexican-American truck driver, a black cement worker, and a white electrician have more in common by voting for Trump than they do with the elites of each of their tribal affinities. That's amazing achievement, what he's done, if he can continue it.
Well, I think that working class coalition has staying power as long as he makes good on his policy mandate.
Yeah, he does. He has to he's made a lot of promises. He's got a lot of special interest groups that they nod yes when he was in ascendance, but any little slip or any scandal and they'll rush at him. So he's got to act very quickly and boldly. People admire his boldness, even if they disagree with him. They think, oh my God, he's going to try this, he's going to do this. So I just think he's got a window of opportunity that he can really move.
Completely different than it was 8 years ago. You're completely right.
It is. Absolutely.
Victor Davis Hanson, Distinguished Fellow at Hoover Institution. His book is The Second World Wars, How the First Global Conflict Was Fought and Won. Thank you, Victor. Season's greetings.
Larry.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Folks, quick break, and then National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien. Are we going into the Panama Canal? Are we going to take Greenland? My goodness, I wonder if Greenland has beautiful condominiums overlooking the ocean. I'm Kudlow. O'Brien next up.
Larry Kudlow.